Good morning, church.
Good morning.
Happy first day of Advent.
Woohoo!
Anyone that's been here for more than a year knows, I am the resident Christmas nerd at this church. So this is honestly, Andy Williams nailed it for me when he said it's the most wonderful time of the year. Let's stand, let's start singing some Christmas carols.
Triumphant, oh come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh come, let us adore him. Oh come, let us adore him. Oh come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation. Sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, glory in the highest. Oh come, let us adore him. Oh come, let us adore him. Oh come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. Yea, Lord, we greet thee, born this happy morning. Jesus, to thee be all glory given. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. Oh come, let us adore him. Oh come, let us adore him. Oh come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord.
And while we
Good morning, Northridge United Methodist Church.
Good morning.
Please make sure you sign the red books at the end of each pew so that we know you were here in attendance this morning. And join us in the fellowship hall after worship for breakfast. We have a few announcements for this morning. On December 4th, our family Advent cookie decorating in the fellowship hall at 3 p.m., which will be followed by a swinging Christmas concert with our band at 4 p.m. Make sure you get your tickets for the cookie decorating today. So we'll have enough cookies already baked and ready for you to decorate. And you can do that in the fellowship hall after the service or in the office. We need new unwrapped gifts for a man or a woman for our children's Christmas Mart at North Valley Caring Services on Saturday, December 17th. The children will have an opportunity to select a gift for their parents, and please bring your items to the church library so we can collect them. On December 11th, we are doing our annual Christmas caroling to those who are homebound. We're going to gather at 2:30 in the fellowship hall, and afterwards we'll all have the world-famous chili supper in the fellowship hall, and that's always fun. Also on that same evening, December 11th, we'll have our Jazz Vespers at 6 p.m. with Lanny Hartley and friends. So make sure you mark that on your calendars too. We'll have a special children's Christmas rehearsal led by Carol De Leon, which will be held on Sunday, December 11th from 10 to 11 in the Kindle Building. The kids will learn and practice a special song that they'll be singing at the 7 p.m. Christmas Eve service on December 24th, and children of all ages are welcome. Don't forget to mark your calendars for Sunday, December 18th, Joys of Christmas concert with our chancel choir and celebration ringers. And please read the bulletin for all the other activities of the church and things.
Let's stand and sing some more carols.
For the Son of God, my name, oh, time. Oh, time. Love and brother, each other. Holy light of don't give face. Time. Of love and
Start back at the beginning of that song.
oh, come, Emmanuel.
The scripture this morning comes from the book of Isaiah, 2nd chapter, verses 1 through 5. This is what Isaiah, son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as the highest of the mountains. It will be exalted above the hills, and all nations will stream to it. Many peoples will come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the temple of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, so that we may walk in his paths. The law will go out from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He will judge between the nations and will settle disputes for many peoples. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. Come, descendants of Jacob, let us walk in the light of the Lord." So ends the reading of the word.
One, two, three, and...
We call you Messiah. Messiah is your name. Son of God, anointed one, heaven sent to save.
that they saw, went a little too far. They didn't have emojis to see the words in Isaiah's time, right? That's not what they had. I'm going to set that down. But I did my best to put the scripture part that we were focusing on today in with some emojis. So I went with let us, and then I looked up walk in emojis, and this is one of them that comes up, the footprints, right? In the light, we could have been a light bulb, but a candle just fit better with the Advent candles and everything, right? And of the Lord, they didn't have like an emoji for Lord per se, but there's a variety of different ones. So I picked a cross because to me that can represent that. Did you know you can even get like Bible emojis? Like you can, they may not be standard on your thing, but you can go on an app and you can get like Bible emojis. And there was actually recently somebody trying to put out like emoji translation of the Bible, like doing as many emojis in the Bible. Okay, so, but what I want to say is like seeing the word, right? Like there's something about seeing the word or seeing what somebody is saying to you. And, you know, my kids love the emojis. I mean, they are a big deal, you know, they're everywhere. And these are just some that I use quite often in my text. Marcella is not allowed to have a phone of her own yet, but she texts me from her dad's phone and vice versa, and I get like a whole line full of emojis, right? Because that's the most fun part about texting is the emojis. But you can, you know it. These are, aw. Like, wow, right? I mean, somebody sends you that, you get a picture in your mind of what words they might be saying to you, right? Get a picture. They're not all like, yeah, sometimes that's the one. Yeah. Right? Yeah, that can be one during Advent, leading up to Christmas, that people have on their faces. Shopping on those days, but I mean, now I know Jason is like the king of, you know, preparation and ready for Christmas, which I love, and I'm sure he's smiling the whole way in time, not getting like grr, but this is one to watch out for as we prepare. This is another one that, you know, we need. This is like this is on my, like, if you use emojis enough on your phone, the ones you use the most travel over to the left-hand side, so they're easily available. This is one that's on the left-hand side of my phone, right? The coffee emoji. This is another one that's on my phone. You can clap for people. They tell you good news. You can send an emoji. You can clap for them. You can send them, you know, your heart at the end of what you're writing, the sun shining, you know, day. Flowers, you know, if somebody's birthday or something, you might attach that to a birthday text or a message that you're sending to them. This is one is on my favorites too. A praying hands is over there because that's a lot of times I'm sending one to get prayer. So I'm praying for you. Do we have prayer chains in terms of phones nowadays? But we have email prayer chains and texts to request prayer. There's all kinds of ways. I just like that one. Just makes me happy when I see it. So, and again, the crosses, the faith, like kind of looking at the Lord, different cross. There's one that said faith. That one I got off the Bible emoji once. It's not on my standard, but I like that one to remind me to have, you know, some faith. This is fingers crossed, right? Some people thought it was something else, but it's fingers crossed. And when I when I went into, there's kind of a emoji translator, right? For like you can type in a word and emojis pop up that might mean that word, visual. This was the one for hope. Okay, like fingers crossed, hope all turns out. But I'll tell you, the one I need for hope is this one. I need like real hope, not just fingers crossed, like, you know, I need serious hope when I'm looking for some hope. And this is one that's for Jesus, right? That's a Jesus. Now this one reminds me of the 70s. I don't know why, it just does. Like, that's another Jesus one, you know, woo, love coming out of your eyes and the halo and all. What's that?
Emo-Jesus.
Yes. Emo-Jesus. Okay, I love it. And what I do like is that you can now a lot of times pick the skin color of your emoji. So they have come up to the times of like being able to pick the skin color that you want to talk in, you know. There's like one for the Bible, and there's, you know, with the cross on it and everything. The light of this comes up in light all the time if you're looking for light, you know, and lightness. Then again, the candle can go for a variety of things, but I thought it worked for light the best today with Advent. This is church. This is another church. This is take me to church. It's the take for the movie sign. And then it's two people walking together, and then there's a church. I actually found this just looking, you know, I didn't make it. They had it. Walk in the light of the Lord. Light of the Lord. Let us walk in that light. I remember... Well, first of all, Isaiah, who's speaking in this scripture, who's telling us that in this part that we read, he's telling us that people are actually going to, you know, war no more, right? That there's gonna be peace, and people are going to be walking together, and they're going to head to the city of Zion, and that beautiful, beautiful Zion, you know, that place that's an image of God's house and God's love and a place to gather, and it's also like the moral compass of the people walking together. They're heading with the same moral compass, you know, heading to Zion. They're walking, and they're always, you know, together walking that way, nations, and they're flowing towards it. Where a river usually flows downhill, they're all flowing uphill to Zion. But it does say they flow. There's a flow to going even uphill when we're together, marching in the light of the Lord and following that instruction that it talks about in there, that we will be given instruction. We don't have to know the answers today. We don't have to know what the answer is or figure it out for everybody. We can literally go into the scripture. We can sit with it. We can get instruction from that. I was remembering this past week, and even before that, one of the first times that I walked in the light of the Lord. And it came from not. Okay. I am the one in yellow. And that's my friend Sandy, who's in purple with the black purse. I'm the one in the yellow with the yellow. This is going to Easter, one Sunday, Easter, right? This is years old, like that time frame. This is in my living room as I was growing up. We always had that picture up there. I don't know, they're signing like the, you know, I don't know, they were signing maybe the Declaration of Independence. I don't know what they were signing, but it's one of those historical kind of things. I don't think I was at all interested in it when I was a kid, so I never paid attention to it, right? I mean, it just was on the wall. You know, you have those things that are just on the wall. But that's me about this age, and the reason I put that up there is not so you can see how young I was, but I was young once, and as Marcella said, your skin's so smooth in this picture. Yeah, it is. It is smooth. It is smooth. But this was about the age I was when busing started in our little town. I grew up in a little town in Wadsworth, Ohio, and there started to be busing. And in our town, it was all white. Let's face it, it was an all-white town. Busing was an interesting thing to do, but there was the school that was closest to me that I would have normally gone to, like my neighborhood school, was called Overlook. And it was on this little hill, and it was a nice little one-story school, and it was all light and airy and kind of just really peaceful and beautiful. And I got bused across the little town. I mean, here it'd be like going to your neighborhood school because it was that close. But I got bused to the other school. I got bused to Isham. And Isham was a 3-story brick, very imposing kind of dark building. And it was very scary for me to have to go on the bus to Isham because I didn't know what that looked like, and it was nerve-wracking as a kid to, go to this school. And I did get to meet kids there, and, I made some friends, and we would, be out on the playground during the time that we had recess and at the lunch tables and everything. And during that time, I met a girl. Her name was Ivy Green. Now that is a name that kids can make fun of, right? Ivy Green. Yeah, I mean, it is. I do not really remember the names of most of the kids I met in grade school, but I remember Ivy Green. And the reason I remember her is because that was my encounter when I was out there before the buses came, and she rode my bus. And today we would say she had some developmental disabilities or delays. Back then, the kids would call her retard. And they would stand around and call her names. And I remember standing there with this group of people, and they're calling her retard, retard. And they kept saying it over and over again. And I backed up away from Ivy Green, right? And the bus came, and we got on the bus, and I didn't sit anywhere near Ivy Green. And I went home, and I could feel it in my gut, in my heart, that it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. And I just started crying and crying and crying when I got home. When my mom came home from work, I do remember her asking me, "What's wrong? Did something happen to you?" Yeah. I didn't stand up. I let Ivy Green be made fun of today. I just cried and cried and cried. It hits home because kids make fun of kids who are different, right? I have children who are different in different ways. It's been done, it's been said, I'm there, it hits home now in a different way, but then it was the first time I saw the light of what I was supposed to do and what I did. And my mom actually asked me, "Well, what are you going to do tomorrow?" That was her question. And for some reason, it gave me the ability to be like, what am I going to do tomorrow? And I said, I'm going to sit with Ivy Green. So I sat with Ivy Green on the bus. I sat with Ivy Green at lunch. I found out Ivy Green had a brother at school who was made fun of just because he was the brother of Ivy Green, right? So I got to know them. And then as we got to know each other, I got to know there were other kids who would sit with us. There were other kids who would be with us as a group together. And it was the first time I felt that sense. Not because I was a good kid, because I was a really good kid. I was. I was a super good kid at a young age, and then not so much later on, and then, but I was a good kid, you know what I mean? But it wasn't because I was a good kid, it was because, there was instilled in me the truth of walking in the light of the Lord and not letting someone else be left in the darkness alone. And that's a moment I will never forget. I will never forget her name. You know, her face even is in my head. I mean, I'm not that old, but I can't remember a lot of faces and people from when I was younger. But I remember Ivy Green, and she made a huge impression on me. And she was willing to let me sit with her. She was willing to sit with her, even though I hadn't at first. And that was huge, huge trust on her part. And I had to remember that was her acting, trusting that would happen. And as I grew older, I've mentioned before, the community I grew up in is pretty much all white, all like lower middle class, and there was one black family in the town, and Alita was my friend because I was on track team and I threw the discus, and I did not run, I did not jump. I've never been good at those things, but I could throw a mean discus. And Alita was a shot putter, and she did not run, and she did not jump, but she could throw a mean shot put. And so we became fast friends because we were the two not running, not jumping, but throwing, for the school. And so we became friends, and I remember she was just a year behind me in school, and her dad, who was a single dad who was raising her and her younger brothers, had asked me to come over and babysit. And I remember thinking at the time that seemed kind of odd because we were so close in age. There was only 1 year difference. But I said, yeah, I went over and I was babysitting. And not until later did I find out that, he wanted me there because they were really the only black family in town. And a lot of things had been said to him about himself, about his children, and what might happen if they were alone. Now, this was in the 80s, right? This was not that long ago. And he wanted someone in the house who, if something happened and that person called the police or called someone else, they would listen to them, right? Would have listened to me had I made that call if something were happening. Our Father, who art in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this to stand beside you. For the opportunity, that which gets in the way of your, let you relieve us. We might be on to the place of peace.